Henshin Inspection presents Going Ultra. This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. You can find all my work at mjmunoz.com. And growbugs.com too! Yes, thank you, other me. So, I wanted to talk about Ultraman Blazar, an overview of the series, because I talked a bit about the whole series in my episode 25 review of Blazar. But since then, a lot has happened, a lot of time has passed. I believe the Ultraman Blazar Blu-ray is available from Mill Creek, and I think it has the movie on it, which I find interesting. But more than that, a couple other things that have got me thinking about Ultraman Blazar is that there's the Blazar crossover of Ultraman Arc, and I stopped watching Ultraman Arc because of many medical family issues that stopped me, and I stopped at like the third of 4 Blazar episodes, the crazy Blazar crossover that they did with Arc for some reason. And like, I like it. It doesn't really make sense. This Infernal Dark Shogun that we got to meet or hear about sort of in Blazar is threatening Arc's world, which is in a different dimension, so they're not, they're in a multiverse, basically. And like I said, I haven't gotten to finish Blazar, but I saw Earthgaron, I saw the scarred outfits on the Hoshimoto crew, the Arc crew, and it made me long for more Blazar, and it made me start thinking about Blazar. And honestly, I love Black Star. I don't remember if there was a second song that ended up taking Black Star's place. I'm pretty sure the ED changed, but I don't know that the opening song changed. And this Black Star is an amazing song. The vocal performance and everything's fantastic. So I just want to give a little bit of credit real quick while I'm thinking about this. And yeah, so anyway, so I want to know, so the lyrics, according to the Ultraman Wiki, are done by Sachiko. Who or what is Sachiko? I don't know. Sounds like a girl's name, but maybe it's like a group's name, or maybe it's a corporate brand name. But it's anyway, I'll talk about that. I have a very interesting relationship with like corporate art, because I love a lot of it and I also disdain a lot of it. So I'll get back into that soon. But the composition arrangement is by Hisashi Koyama, and the artist is Mindarin. Anyway, so like, her vocal performances are fabulous. It's true. The song has such a great energy. I listened to a male cover, which is done by a group who's done, they did Blazar, they did Zet, they did a couple other ones. I can't remember the name. Maybe I'll post it in the show notes. We'll see. If I remember, I'll do it. If not, then I won't. And that's not a big deal. You can find them. Just look up, Black Star cover, male, maybe. Just because I thought, this is already a lady singing. Let me hear what a dude sounds like singing it. And like, the band is decent. Like, something's off in the mix, and either something's off in the mix, or it's a very difficult mix to make. And then even I've been playing with Get Ready to Crucify Me. I only say that because you're an Ultraman fan if you're listening to this, and you should get the joke on that. But Get Ready to Crucify Me if you don't like what I'm about to say. I'm prepared for it. I willingly take this on. I thought, let me see if I can reproduce Black Star with an AI thing. Suno is the AI music thing I'm using, and I couldn't get anything that came close to it. Some stuff sounded kind of cool, but there's not enough like granular control over the length of the song for me to be satisfied, and with a free account anyway. And I couldn't really get anything that matched like the awesomeness of these real living artists doing the work. Which you might say, duh, MJ, of course you can't, because it's all done by machines, man. But a lot of things done by machine, a lot of things that are done corporately, a lot of things that are done according to a formula, they still work. That's why formulas are formulas, because math is a like a discrete, not discrete. Math is like a finite thing. Like, there are only finite possibilities within mathematics. But what about imaginary numbers? Yeah, I'm not a math nerd, but I do know like there's finite dimensions to reality, and even if it's ever expanding, it's only ever expanding at a certain pace, and that can all be codified and understood well. I got off the wrong place. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, despite the fact that creativity is this beautiful, awesome, unicorn of a thing, like, you can still catch a unicorn. You can still use it. A unicorn can still stab you with its horn, even though it's, a finite being. I think I totally mixed my metaphors there, and I think I lost all meaning. So sorry about that, but I think you can understand what I'm trying to say there, which is that, sometimes corporate stuff is good. Sometimes things that are paint by numbers turn out to work out really well, and they're still beautiful and meaningful and impactful. which, you know, if you want to criticize, you know, well, anyway, I'm not going to go on a diatribe defending this, because I don't need to, because that's not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is that in analyzing the lyrics and reading the lyrics over and over again and listening to what what I had Claude AI come up with as like improved English language lyrics that rhymed with the Japanese verbiage that was used, the transliteration of the Japanese text. I did get something that, you know, might have rhymed with it, but it didn't have the same spirit and soul and spark. And part of the thing that it did too was it changed some of the meaning. And when I went back and looked at the meaning of the original, of the Japanese, the translation from Japanese into English of the lyrics for Black Star, there's a lot of stuff about, like a duality, about like a protection, about like piercing through darkness and piercing the sky and like breaking through these barriers, and also about the future. And I found that to be interesting, because at the very end of Ultraman Blazar, which now I'm transitioning into my review of the show, at the very end of Ultraman Blazar, we get this invasion by the V99, and they are stopped. They stop their aggression against humanity, who is, attacking them. So, in my opinion, the V99 are like defending themselves and retaliating only, well, they're retaliating in measure, I would say, basically. And what happens is, it's the spy girl, I can't remember her name at the moment, but she goes and she ends up saying for them to use whatever alien language translation software they have to tell the V99 future. We want to be focused on the future. And that message of the future, which is contained in the song, in the lyrics of the song, Black Star, it's about moving towards the future. It's about not hiding from the truth. It's about not hiding from the truth. It's about being open to learning about what else is in the world and not just deluding yourself. And it's about moving towards the future and into the future. That it's amazing that song recognizes that theme, and that turns out to be a big theme of the show, and you could say a big theme of Ultraman overall. Like being cowed by fear and being made to be evil or to act violently or act irrationally and cause greater harm through giving into fear and letting fear control you, definitely seems to be a theme I've seen in some Ultraman things, and I think that's a theme in Blazar. And it kind of blew me away that this show has a theme song that, first of all, is an absolute banger, as they say, and it's just so freaking rockin' hard that it's amazing to listen to. And that triumphant Black Star, like, it's so great, it feels so good. But the Black Star, this black hole, this Blazar, is this thing that opens you up. It opens up Gento Hiruma to this possibility of this future he couldn't have seen otherwise. This future that he would have been locked off from because his life would have ended prematurely, and he wouldn't have been able to fulfill this destiny as partner to this Ultra, to this, great Ooga Booga man from the sky who helps him to fight for the future and to look forward to the future. And it really fascinates me that those themes and messages are contained in the opening song for the show, which should be like an encapsulation of what the show's all about, but doesn't always turn out to be an encapsulation of what the show's all about. I'm thinking now back to the X-Files opening. It's creepy and wonderful, as Chris Carter might say, and it has an ethereal feel, and it feels spooky, and it feels haunted, and it feels mysterious, which is exactly what the show is and what the show's about. It's about exploring the unknown, and it's about the tension of what's out there and what's it going to do to me, and like trying to persist and survive through that. And I can't think of any other TV show openings at this time. Ultraman Z, they'll chant my name. I don't really know about that. I've never paid too much attention to the lyrics. Just it sounds cool. But again, like the Black Star lyrics, at least the TV size version of it, before it jumps off into the rest of the song, definitely is about all those themes that I talked about earlier, and that's what the show Ultraman Blazar is about. And thinking back now, we have Scarred who's formed in the wake of, like, okay, so to go into it, you know, humanity, the V99 are there, and humanity somehow captures these things, like the Firebird thing, right? So, which I don't really understand the Firebird, and it kind of irritates me, but whatever. So, like, Blazar gets this Firebird upgrade. You know, big spoilers for Blazar. Blazar gets this big Firebird upgrade thing that, like, apparently he was the master of this Phoenix Firebird thing, and somehow they had the technology to trap it. The girl's father, the scientist girl's father, or no, the spy girl, her scientist father had the ability to transfer. Oh yeah, she was like a super genius, so I kind of thought she was an alien, but she wasn't. She's the kid of a genius, so she's a genius too. Anyway, somehow their Earth technology from 20-some years ago, 21 years ago or whatever it was, had the ability, maybe it was, I think she's 23 in the show, so it was like 23, 24 years ago, had the ability to, it's also super suspicious that she was conceived in and around the time that the V99 visited, so I totally thought she was like, you know, human-alien hybrid. Again, going back to X-Files, one of the greatest shows of all time. Anyway, but yeah, so we have this, this, somehow, you know, Blazar's pet Phoenix bird thing gets separated from him, and it's held in this facility in this secret place. But more importantly than that, like, the V99 came and visited, and I think they were running from an enemy or something like that, which is the big bad at the end of the show, is laying all the eggs, and the kaiju are like a kaiju defense force, which is super cool. But anyway, they come to Earth, and they're running from this world-destroying thing or whatever. That becomes the enemy at the end. Its name starts with a V, but I don't remember it. Anyway, so, like, humanity's fear of the V99 and what they have, like, the first wave. So there's the first episode of Blazar is called First Wave. The second wave is Bazanga, and, or is it the second? I think it's called First Wave. Anyway, the first wave was the V99 visiting. The second wave is supposed to be Bazanga. And the third wave is this Volmitrion, or whatever his name is, that comes in and attacks. He lays the eggs, which have kaiju in them, I think, or something. Or they're like bomb eggs. And he blows up planets and knocks them off course to crash into another planet, and blows it up its core or whatever, and then causes other issues, and then kills the planet ultimately. So it's like this crazy destructive force. Anyway, and then, like, I think all of the special space kaiju, like Bazanga and the Deltarune, that's not what it's called, the Delta Bird bomber guy, like, those are all, like, genetically engineered space kaiju or something like that these V99 folks are making in order to help protect themselves from this threat, I think, that Blazar is ultimately able to defeat with, I think, the help in large part of Earth-Garon. Anyway, and the kaiju, like the bug kaiju who are absorbing all the energy so they can shoot this thing and stop it from coming towards Earth, which is like a really cool, like, I love the idea of this kaiju defense force, but like the fear of the kaiju, like the humans are afraid of the kaiju and they're trying to kill them all because they're not understanding, they're not seeing the bigger picture, and they lack the context to know that what the kaiju are doing is actually a good thing and that they shouldn't be trying to stop them. Yeah, it's messing with your renewable energy source or whatever, but using up that renewable energy source right now will enable your planet to not be destroyed. So in the long term, it's a good thing, and in the short term, it's a bad thing. And humans have a propensity to see things in the short term and not understand the long term. Although, you know, it's not like the kaiju were communicating with them, so they couldn't tell them, so they didn't know. But that's the thing, like, this song talks about not hiding from the truth and being open to learning and, like, understanding new things and having a, not so much a vision of the future, but like having an understanding and being open to seeing things that are off in the horizon that you don't understand right now, so that you are, you know, you're benefited from it at a different time. And like, I love that. I think it's a beautiful message. You know, it's a banger of a song, and it has this beautiful message to it. And I think that's really cool. I think it's really intense. And I think it's excellent, honestly. Anyway, I lost my train of thought there. Forgive me. But what I'm saying is, like, I think that's what the themes of the show are, and those themes are all encapsulated in this song. And I don't want to keep just going back to the song, but really looking at the lyrics of the song made me think, like, oh, wow, this thing's deep, and it has a good understanding of the themes of the show. So I'm assuming, was it Kikuchi, right? He must have known what the theme of the show was going to be, and must have known that, like, the safe word, the word that would save the day would be future, telling the aliens future, and that they would be able to chill out and be okay and know that everything's going to be all right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. So, like, he must have known that, and he must have given instructions to somebody in, Ultraman, it's, Super Ride Productions, to when they had that corporate, mass media song made, to have it have this theme in it. Because just because something's corporate, just because something's made by committee or made by a corporation, doesn't mean that it has to be heartless and soulless. And I think Ultraman proves this year after year when they produce a show that is awesome and has something to say. And I think Blazar does have something to say. Now, the contradictions about, like, not wanting to lie or, like, being open and honest are, like, weird because, like, it's almost like that's Gento and and Blazar together. Like, they have to be honest and open with each other. And, like, the song's almost, like, about them and their journey together of, like, going from not understanding to understanding each other and being able to, like, see through each other's eyes and to, like, want to help and understand each other and, like, not be afraid. And, like at one point Blazar was, Gento was afraid of Blazar's power and what he would do and how he would kill all those, like the mama kaiju and her baby kaiju and stuff. And, like, he was afraid to use his power. And it's almost like the message is, like, of the show is, don't be afraid to use your power. Just do your best to use it positively. Use your power in a way that will move you towards the future. Which, it's funny to me because there was an Australian-Japanese Super co-production made where they made a show in Australia that was called Ultraman Towards the Future. And that phrase just first of all, that's a great title. I heard about it like 10 years ago or more, listening to Henshin Justice Unlimited. Either either the Swooshcast guy, Australian guy who reviewed a bunch of SH figure arts and other toys, or Mock Dent, who has been featured doing voices for Ultraman, in their new dubs. Either he brought it up, and I remember it all the way from back then, or it was either him or the Australian guy, but one of them mentioned this Ultraman Toward the Future project, and, like, Markusatsu talked about it I can't remember the lady's name, the lady who does a bunch of cool stuff for him, the Ultraman stuff and other things. Anyway, they covered it over there on his channel. Briefly they talked about it, and I think it's just such a great title, and I think it's, like, a really great title for Ultraman. Like, Ultraman's about moving towards the future, it feels like to me, and, like, Blazar specifically is about that. It pulls on that theme, and that's, like, the theme in the show. That's the theme of the show. Everybody in their relationships with each other. You've got Spy Lady, you've got Martial Arts Lady, you've got Tech Hunk, you've got Gento, the family man, and you've got the captain over them. Oh, and then the farmer vice president guy. Like, each of them, in some way, their stories are about them being able to move towards the future in their own lives. And the way that the cast worked out in that show is really good too. But I already talked about that in my episode 25 review, so I don't want to go over that ground again. But yeah, I would say each of them has, like, something that they're moving towards that's in their future that they want to keep living for. And that's, like, what, that's why they're part of Scarred, and that's why they are successful in Scarred, and why they're making big things happen and big changes happen. And, like, that's why they're able to accomplish the feats they are. Obviously because it's fiction, but also because, like, the purpose or the blessing, the benefit of them accomplishing those things in the fiction is that they get to move towards those futures by, facing these, difficult challenges for themselves. And, yeah, I think that's what the show's about. I think the show is about embracing the hardship and challenges of life without fear, or embracing it despite the fact that you're afraid, and overcoming that fear so that you can have a future. Like, even now I'm thinking back to the Rainbow Snake episodes, and, like, that doctor, I think he was saying that kaiju are almost innocent and humans are the real bad ones, and he used, like, human past stuff, like things from humans' dark past, to justify that stance. And ultimately he gives up the fight when he realizes that this next generation is going to try to build a better future and going to try to do things differently, and he can't really stop them. Like, you can't fight the future, so you may as well embrace the future. And, like, he does that in maybe a half measure or half step, and, like, Gento does that too. He can't stop his death eventually. But he still faces things, and he's willing to face death and almost give up his life in order to do things, to secure a future, like for his children or for his son and his wife and, other people. And I think that's what Blazar is about. I really like Blazar. I have a really strong attachment. The suit's beautiful. The cast is really cool, and I really like Gento. And I wish there was a little bit more there. I want to buy them. Like, I really just want to buy the set now so I can get the movie, because apparently the movie's dubbed there as well on the DVD, and it would be really cool to get and check out and do an additional review and add to my my playlist for all the Blazar reviews. Anyway, as I move towards my future, and I've faced a lot of darkness, more on the side than directing it facely, with some issues that we've been having lately over here. I want to get back into ARC and finish that show. It's done, so I just need to catch up and finish reviewing it and talking about it. But I thought now's a good time to go ahead and talk about Blazar, and then I'll move toward the future and check out the rest of it. So anyway, check out mjmunoz.com for the show notes, to find out more of what I'm doing, more of my releases, and check out growbugs.com, where you can sign up to find out about my book, my middle grade book featuring magical bugs battling monsters. One of these magical bugs battling monsters partners up with a girl, to help save someone she cares about. And when the girl is brave enough, they unite and become a giant of light to destroy the darkness, and face fear and stuff. And it's very Ultraman-like, very Ultraman-inspired in that dimension. But beyond that, it's great, entertaining stories for kids that have stakes and are interesting. And I'm working on a book separate to that, or separate from that one. That's just one little story I have, and I have bigger stories that involve kids and involve these magical bugs and the dark creatures that they have to face and overcome. And I think it's really good stuff. And I think if you like Ultraman, if you like Tokusatsu, you're going to like my stuff as well. So you can find out more about that at growbugs.com. Until next time, folks, take care.